Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another track guide on Gran Turismo 7. This time we are at Nurburgring GP track for this week's Daily Race C in Group 3, and I'm using the Beetle. Now there are other cars you can use for this time trial. It looks like there's about 3 or 4 different cars, but I think the Beetle's quite a nice handling car. I'm not a fan of the Porsche on GT7. I loved it on GT Sport, but on GT7 that car is not my kind of car. Too much understeer for me, can't deal with it. I think the Beetle's a little bit easier to get the lap time out of the car. So that's what I went with. Hopefully this track guide can help you find a little bit of pace. We spent about 20 minutes doing this live on stream, so didn't push it massively. So there's a lot of time to find, but I'm sure it can give you some vital tips to improving your trial time and getting a little bit higher up on that leaderboard to maybe start you a few places extra on the grid. But remember, if you do enjoy these videos, it really does help the channel out if you give it a like, subscribe, and also comment in the comment section. Let me know how much it's helped you out, if it's managed to gain you time, if it's helped you in races. I always like reading these comments. It's great to read some of them. So thank you everyone who's writing them comments in the comment section. Let's get on with this guide and try and find you a few vital temps if we can. Okay, so first things first, try and make sure you get a good exit off the final corner to lead your way down the main straight to give yourself solid straight line speed all the way into the first braking zone. So when we're approaching our first braking zone, we're going to look for this little bit of tarmac on our left hand side. So you're going to see it there. Now I'm going to use that end bit of tarmac as a reference where we're going to brake. I also mainly concentrate on the 100 board, braking just before the 100 board. That's what I kind of look at while I'm driving. So you can see as we go and pass that end of tarmac, braking inputs are going in. We're going to keep the car in a straight line, get it all the way over to the left, and let our left hand side get onto the curb on the left hand side, and then rotate it in. So you see we're on the curb. Now we're going to throw it in, and we're looking for the apex of the corner there. You can see the curb, and that's where we're aiming to get our right hand tire. So you see right hand tire almost straight over the curb, and then onto the throttle as soon as you can to carry the speed and get the momentum out of this corner. Now you're going to swing it into this next left hand corner. So we're really going to get the car as much as we can over to the right hand side and then back over to the left hand side. A little bit of braking input going in there. Now I don't really look at this reference on the right hand side, but it's there if you need it. A little bit of tarmac, make sure you're braking before that. And now it's a case of just downshifting and rotating the car through here. Early upshift there onto the power, and use the full width for the track again. You can use the curb on the right hand side, and then I'm going to use the end of the green as a kind of a reference to make sure you're braking quite a bit before that end of green Astro on the right hand side. If you're braking close to the end of that, you're braking too late. Now what we're going to do here is trail brake all the way into the corner and try and get the car onto the curb on the left hand side as much as possible. You can actually get that left hand tire all the way onto the curb, and it will help rotate the car through here. Now onto the throttle as early as we can, and then we're going to try and upshift early to get the exit speed over this right hand apex. You see onto third gear as we're going to give it a little bit of a lift off the throttle. That's going to help rotate the car through and get the weight onto the front, and then upshift to third. Using the full width for the track, you can really extend out wide on this corner. Make sure you don't go too wide though, because you can get dirty tires on the exit here, so be cautious on the exit there that you don't pick up dirty tires. And now we're going to work our way into the next braking zone, which again, we're going to use the end of tarmac for the sprint layout or the 2 cones, whichever you see fit to use. But that part there, you want to be on the brakes pretty much dead on there. You can see onto the brakes, and now we're going to trail brake the car into the apex. This is all about carrying speed through, so you don't want to be on the brakes for too long. And then onto the throttle, and we're going to try and rotate the car. So you're going back left to right, so you're going to swing the car to the left, then back over to the right hand side for this right hand braking zone. So as soon as you see the last bit of red on the curb there, you want to be on the brakes before that. So you don't want to be braking any later than that. And down to second gear, you want to get the car rotated into it. I missed the apex by quite a bit there, so had to be a little bit patient on the throttle. So possibly lost. You can see the ghost pulling away a bit there. So possibly lost a tenth or a tenth and a half at least on that one corner. Now braking into the next reference, you can see I use the start of that little bit of tarmac on the left there, where it goes over the white line a little bit as a reference to where I'm going to think about getting on the brakes. But you brake a little bit after that, so make sure you're braking a bit past that. And you're going to aim to get the car into this apex. I like to take a very narrow, tight line through this hairpin. So you can see I'm getting the car slowed down second gear, let the car rotate, and try and keep it to the right hand side as much as possible. You don't want to go out wide to the left because you'll lose lap time. So keeping it narrow, on the throttle nice and early, and then powering your way up through this almost flat out chicane up here. So this is one of the, in some cars you can do it flat. In this car you probably can do it flat, but you're going to see I give it a little safety lift again. Could do it better, so it's probably a tenth or half a tenth to gain here. You see a little safety lift there. Now if you want to do that, it's probably advisable if you're not 100% confident, but you can possibly do that corner completely flat. But again, I gave it a little safety lift there. Just make sure you take a nice smooth line through there. And now working our way into the next left-hand corner, which we're going to break. Again, that little line where you see the change of colour between the tarmac, I use that as a reference. I brake just slightly past that. You can see just going on the brakes. And now we're going to be keeping the car in straight. Use the green bit of Astro on the right hand side to widen the line into this. And then you're going to aim for the left hand side to get over the green Astro on the apex. You see it there. What you want to do is trail brake in and get your left hand tyre up on there. And then on the throttle as early as you can. And that'll help swing the car in for this next right hand corner. So you're on the throttle, swinging the car and getting the rear kicking out a bit, getting the car over to the left hand side, and then early on the brakes. Now I don't really use a reference, I do it more of a visual guidance to where the apex is. You can see in the distance there, making sure you're giving yourself plenty of time to rotate the car in and get it through to the apex. And then on the throttle again as early as you can. Miss the apex slightly again there, so possibly another 1/10 of a second to be gained on that one corner alone. So this Beetle looking like it's got quite good potential with the mistakes I'm spotting in my own lap. So next up, we're looking for the 100 board on the right hand side. We're going to brake just short of that 100 board. You can see onto the brakes just a fraction before it. And now this chicane is vital. You can really attack this and take a lot of the track limits off. So as you're braking down into the apex, you can see you want to get your left hand tyre over the curb and you're aiming for that bollard up in the distance there. So as you're approaching it now, you want that bollard to be centre of your screen almost and on the throttle and accelerating out of the chicane. Now I reckon there's more pace for me to gain there. I did it reasonably well, but I still think there's another 1/10 to find just by really attacking that chicane a little bit more and pushing the track limits to what they allow. Now for the final corner, we're going to brake nice and early here. I don't again have a reference, I do it more by visual and by audio of the revs. So just nice and early. Make sure you're not braking late, because earlier is better than late for this corner. If you brake late, you understeer wide, you risk the gravel. Early, you get into the apex and you get on the throttle a little bit earlier and you can carry the speed all the way down to the finishing line, as we're going to do now, and go over the line for a 1 minute 53.8, which is a reasonably okay lap. Like I say, I think there's a 53.4 in this Beetle at least. There are other cars you can use like the Mercedes AMG, the Porsche. Mercedes AMG I think would be a nice car to use as well. So yeah, bear that in mind if you want to have a go with the Mercedes. So let's have a watch of the lap from the chase camera. Again, you see using the full track width into turn one, right hand tyre over that curb. So important to do that and then get on the throttle nice and early and then trying to swing the car. And you'll notice this track is a lot of it is about getting the car from left to right and right to left. So again, you'll see here, you're going into the left corner and you're trying to keep the car to left and then swinging it in from the left to the right hand side. Again, the next corner, very similar again. You're doing a very similar thing again through here. So you're going to carry the speed through, but you're also trying to get the car back over to the left for the next right hand corner. So you're then swinging it in with throttle and then into the right corner. You can see how much apex I missed there. There's plenty of time to gain on that corner alone, probably a 1/10 or so, maybe more. So a lot of time to find on this lap. This corner again, you can see braking, rotating the car and trying to keep it very narrow to the apex. You don't want to run too far out wide, because if you do, you end up losing a lot of lap time. And again, through here, you can do this flat, but you can see I give it a little lift off the throttle just to get the car into the apex, get the left hand tyre onto that curb, and then working your way into this next left-hand corner, which again, you're going to do that very similar thing of getting the car over to the left-hand side of the track after taking the left-hand corner. So again, on the throttle, get the car over to the left, swing it in, and again, you can see there's a little bit of apex there to use. So a couple of feet of extra apex to get close to, and possibly gain half a 1/10 or more on the X and carry that speed all the way into the next braking zone then. So yeah, we're now looking for that 100 board. You can see it there, 100 board onto the brakes, and this is where you can really see how much we're attacking it. Straight over, using that bollard as like a center reference for going straight over it. You should be fine with track limits as long as you get it on the center of the car. So yeah, just be cautious on the first part of the chicane though, that you don't take too much off, because you can pick up a track limit penalty for the first part. So then over the line, 53.8, pretty solid lap. Hopefully that will help you out. Let me know in the comment section if it does. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll be back for more videos and live streams. See you all soon.